Chris, how was your weekend?
I'll keep that within myself, to myself. No, it was good, really good. Yeah, it was a fabulous night for everybody. You know, nights where we talked about to the players, where you look back at the end of your career. You know, you get involved in sort of the sort of season to season situation as a player and as a manager, as a coach and a manager. And then there's certain games that I think you even asked me before, you know, any real great memories of the FA Cup, and I said no. Well, I've got one now. So and everybody has, which we're absolutely delighted for, you know. And even Saturday, just even the old day really, I had an opportunity of meeting arguably the best manager of all time in his office afterwards as well. And having a glass of red wine with him, which was another fabulous experience personally, and then spent Saturday just relaxing and chilling and meeting loads of Middlesbrough fans as well. You know, I stopped over with the family in Manchester. I think it's really important. I've said all along, you know, you've really got to enjoy these sort of days and these sort of nights and the experiences and get the maximum out of it, because there's quite a few down days in your career and in a history of a football club. You know, it's, I think even if you look back, you know, sort of over the last sort of 5 years for us as a football club, the sun's not always been shining. So when it does, you have to maximise it, and I should imagine, like myself, the majority of Middlesbrough fans certainly did that. You know, looking at sort of Friday night and Saturday when they were still, whether they were in Manchester or wherever they were in the country or back home, they really enjoyed the weekend. And as you obviously understand, Sunday recovery day, and then back to work in terms of preparing for Wednesday.
I should imagine you're right on the fans' celebrations. It's nice to hear you say that as well about enjoying the moment, because, you know, the traditional manager chat at this point is to say, oh, it's gone, it's on to the next thing. That you have to, as you say, you have to enjoy these moments, don't you?
Everybody understands that. It's such a lazy line, isn't it, or boring line, but you know, you've got to, of course you do, because you know, that's, as I said, that's what you're in. You know, we talked to the players before it, and we talked about looking back and reflecting on your career, and it was a great opportunity for us, the one that we took. You know, it was a tough first half for us. You know, we're up against Man United, and you know, I read a report over the last 10 years they've spent £1 billion, and you look at the team that they put on paper. That was a full hit, and they went for it, completely went for it. And I've got to say, you know, it's not my problem or my issue that they didn't put us to bed. We hung on in there. We grew in belief in the second half. The goal is the goal. That's how it is. There's no denying it. People might have, you know, be a bit confused about the rules, but the main people that weren't confused about the rules were the people that officiate the game at the highest level. Anthony Taylor, VAR involved, Martin Atkinson. You know, Martin thought at the time as well, you know, he possibly thought that, you know, this is a Premier League referee, that it, you know, it might not have been accidental, and he might have controlled it, but it was as it was seen. So, you know, no good bleating about that, even though there's been certain, you know, comments coming from Manchester that that's the rules. That's the rules. They didn't put us to bed. That's not my fault. And we managed to hang on in there and show tremendous amount of courage, belief. And I thought our play was good second half, and our defensive structure was great. It was up to them to break us down, and they didn't. We grew in belief, and we sniffed it, we sensed it, you know, and we got the job done, and delighted and being rewarded with another brilliant draw at home to Tottenham.
Yeah, that is a great draw, isn't it, to be at home as well, and you'll be obviously hoping for a full house from that. Are you I think it's fair to say that the fans had already welcomed you with open arms, but are you pleased you've now had that big moment with you in charge that everybody will look back on for years to come, so that you're really fully part of the Boro story now?
You try to make that the case, myself and the staff, because that means that we're doing, things the way we want it to go. We want to be a success. We've had success at other clubs, and we're desperate to continue that. The record of sort of me and Alan over the years, and even before from myself working, is been. I think I've got a positive CV. You do sometimes. You get a little bit disillusioned that you get judged on sort of one poor season, but you have to fight your way back. And I think I'm a competitor, and me and Alan are competitors, and we want to do well wherever we go. And certainly this is the case. And we talked about it, when we first took the job, about desire and to go again. It's burning just as much, just as deeply as it ever has for me. And I think sometimes people might think, no, you just lose your edge a little bit, or not. I certainly haven't. Alan certainly hasn't. The coaching staff certainly haven't. And that's what we want to put on our mark. We have to set it up. We have to lead by example, and we were desperate to get a result for the football club and help the players as much as possible. But I think the biggest thing, regardless of a reflection or what the supporters think of me, they should be incredibly proud of the players, because they put an incredible shift in there. Players were doing 15k, and I think Tav did 16k on the night. Players went toe to toe, which I said at about 9 o'clock. We woke ourselves up, and we realised that we had to do better. So from 9 o'clock onwards, we showed what we were about. So it was a great combination of supporters really getting behind the team all night, and the players rising to the occasion, as I said, after 9 o'clock.
Have you been having lengthy conversations with Matt Prestridge then? I mean, you're talking about the running stats there. Are you any concerns about the players' physical state going into tomorrow?
No. We have to monitor them. It's a fine balance to work and rest as well. So yeah, they had an extra day off as well. So they understand the schedule. You've seen the schedule now. I think we've got one free week in the next sort of 5 or 6 weeks. It's back-to-back games, so they understand that. They understand that the recovery is really important. What they do away from the football club. How they apply themselves here when they're around the place. And of course, which there has to be. Any club that wants to do well, there's got to be a huge connection between every part of the football club, between medical staff, the sports science staff, the coaching staff, and myself to make sure that we're ready to go again on Wednesday night. The players are all ready. They understand, which I've told them, if we want to be successful in this second part of the season, we won't be in the mix. We have to call upon them all. They have to be ready. The likes of Duncan coming onto the pitch on Friday night. Martin got on the pitch, Lee Peltier got on the pitch, Sol got on the pitch to take a penalty and take all the glory. And Azza, it was their opportunity to help the team out. I'm a big believer in the group. I think you understand that. I'm a big believer, and I think it's quite a good way of putting it. Substitutes coming on, maybe not. It isn't substitutes now. It's finishers, team players that finish the game for you. Whether they need to see it out, or whether they need to make an impact or get themselves back in the game. We've had that luxury of a strong bench over the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks. No disrespect to the bench before, but you look at the bench now. We made a few changes in the Reading game, and a couple of other changes, and it's really important that it's a group mentality. And it's a collective that's going to get us these results. And I will be looking. I won't be frightened to make changes. I think it's quite easy to go again. I know you've talked about it and said, well, yeah, we do want a settled side and whatever. But I think really keep an eye out on them in terms on the training ground, in terms on match days as well. We've got to be brave and make the right decisions and the right choices as well. So to change a winning team as well, we will do that, because you've got to make sure that you're comfortable with the team that goes out. And I think, as I said, I think it's quite easily, Mark, just to go, well, they've won that, knowing that maybe he might be a little bit off it, and we possibly might need to make that change. We're going to be bold and brave and try and pick the best team for every game, and that, obviously, from that point of view, everybody has to be ready, and I'm sure they will be.
Are you pleased that you've got a game against a fellow promotion chaser as well to follow the Manchester United match? Because you can imagine nationally everybody will be looking and thinking, oh well, the air will have probably gone out of the balloon after that one. It's after the Lord Mayor's show and all that. Yeah,
of course. There's all sorts of things that people can chuck at us. Chuck at a team when they so. It's just about consistency in attitude and approach. So they understand that. I don't really need to bang on about that. They understand if we don't turn up on Wednesday night, whoever we were playing in the division, we won't get the result that we're after. Regardless if it's a promotion team or regardless if it's a team that's fighting for their lives. So I don't think that changes at all. They know that they've got to show consistency in their attitude and play if we want to get the results that we want to. And yeah, of course everybody will look, but I think that was a consistent performance by us. I don't think that all of a sudden we've gone lost, not worked hard, not tried, not had no desire in lead-ups to a game, and then all of a sudden we play Man United, raise it to a level and drop off. We've got our results and our performances and current form is a consistent one, so I don't think that can be levelled. If we lose the game on Wednesday night, it won't be because of lack of desire or attitude and commitment. I can't crystal ball it and say we're here and we're going to win, because we're up against a really good side and a manager who's done fantastically well. A team that's really going well. I mean, you look at their results, you look how close they are to the top two, and they're one that they're a team that can stay the pace and brought some good players in and got some good players, and it's always a tough place to go and get a result.
Brilliant. Well, good luck.
Cheers, Mark. Thank you. Cheers.
Dawn, please.
Hey, Dawn.
Hi Chris, well done the
Thank
other night.
you.
It was fantastic watch at home.
Thanks.
Jumping about all over the place, it was brilliant. Talking about not taking your eye off the ball and all of that is fair enough, but a performance like that and a result like that can be quite emotionally draining, even though it was a positive outcome, can't it?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you have to look at that. I mean, I think I think a really good example of that, Dawn, is Crooksay. We've had a bit of a laugh and a joke with him over the last sort of couple of days, because he possibly covers more distance than anybody in our team, and he even talked about it. All the sort of the backstory to Crooksay, in being a supporter, in being in the academy, and he couldn't move after 65, 70 minutes. He couldn't move. So how much of that is in terms of the output he put in? Brilliant. He had to put a shift in there in that part of the pitch against the players that he was up against, the pressing that he did to try and get after their fullback, the midfield movement that they have. But you look at it from like you just talked about there, from an emotional point of view, and I think that he was a player that really did get drained, really, and that's quite difficult to deal with for Crooksay, because of all the things that we've talked about.
So, but with that in mind, I know you were saying that the players will all be ready for it and they know what it's going to take to have a good second half of the season. But you do have to sort of take those sort of things into account when you're picking a team for Wednesday, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. We've looked at the players in training, so we have that ability to change it now. But as I said, there's all different ways you can look at it. You know, do we keep a settled side that the boys deserve to go again? Do we need to change it up? And as I said to Mark, you know, I'll be brave enough to change it. You know, I don't want to be. I don't want to have no regrets. I don't want to, you know, be kicking myself if I've got a gut feeling that I think we need to change it as a coaching staff. And obviously, I'll make the ultimate decision. And I haven't done it. So I've always gone, you know, deep down with a gut feeling, and sometimes that you don't always get that right, because that's what you're dealing with, and you have to deal with these sort of situations. And you know, everybody has their opinion on the team. I totally understand that and respect that. But you know, I think, you know, myself as a manager, you know, I will be brave in making decisions, and whatever decision it's made, he's got to fit right with sort of how we're feeling about the situation, and bringing all those things that you've talked about to the table.
And while the cup games, you know, are the things that create the most amazing memories, the big picture, and I guess that the ultimate aim of the season is still to get promoted, and you can't take your eye off that prize, can you?
We want to be successful. We want to win games of football. You know, I'm not trying to deflect on this, but obviously the position that we came into it, we've been on a fabulous run, and we want to keep that going. But we're one of, I believe, 10, 11 clubs, 12 clubs that are feeling the same, and we'll have the same ambitions to win games of football. If that's good enough at the end of the season, the points total is enough to give you an opportunity and a crack at it, then brilliant. But just looking for that consistency, game in, game out, which we've got, and we need to keep going. But this, you know, the longer it goes on, and people will, but you know, I come in from a medium and long term situation, and you know, I think if you ask Steve and Neil Bowser and Kieran, everything that we're doing, they're delighted with, which is great, and we're pleased, because that's obviously, you know, sort of represents wins and cup progression, and we all want to keep it going. Of course we do. We all want to keep it going for everything. We want to go deep into the cup competition, and we want to keep winning games of football in the Championship. And if we can keep doing that, you know, we'll see what happens at the end of the season. But you know, still a hell of a lot of football to be played. There's some, as I keep saying, there's some teams below us that are on decent runs. There's maybe some teams above us that might start feeling the pressure a little bit, but we can't be bothered about what happens below us, what happens above us. We've got to make sure that we just get what we can affect, what we can dictate and control right, and if we can do that, we've got a talented group of players that I think that can win games in this division.
And I mean, it's been tight all season, the table. Are you surprised it hasn't thinned out a bit by this stage? No. I said at the start, I think that the relegated teams should all be in the top two and top three with the advantage that they've got, and Bournemouth. I think the three of those teams that came down, and Bournemouth have got a huge advantage, because of, you know, majority of them have kept all the players. And obviously from the financial point of view, and obviously, you know, working in the Championship, what financial fair play does, and now you have to balance the books and whatever. So below are really fighting to get in there. So I'm not surprised. I think how it started and how it panned out. A couple of teams will be a little bit disappointed that they're not higher up the division, but they've still got enough games to catch teams up, and there's some really good stories in there. You know, I think QPR is a really good story. I think, you know, it's a solid football club. Mark's a genuine guy. He's a really solid man and a really good manager, and he's got a team that's working together. That's a real team. Got some real good individuals in there, and as I said, it's always a difficult place, and they've shown that consistency. And they'll be wanting to keep it going. Blackburn will be wanting to keep it going. Forest are coming. Sheffield United are coming. You saw how difficult it was playing against Coventry. Luton are having a go. You know, then they said you've got your West Broms. You know, there's a whole host of teams at Stoke City who,
you know, who started the season off fabulous. West Brom started the season off. You know, I've already mentioned 9 or 10 teams there. I still think that you know, Bournemouth and Fulham should and possibly will, you know, be comfortable two promoted teams, especially Fulham. I think Bournemouth will, with the business that they've done in January and the strength and depth of their squad. But you never know. This is at times a weird division with results, and sometimes people can fall off the edge of the cliff, and sometimes people can come with 8 or 9 wins out of 10, out of 11, out of 12 in the last 12 games, and come with an incredible run. So we just got to keep ourselves sorted and concentrate on ourselves.
Just finally from me, Mark has done very well at QPR, but presumably he'll be using the fact that you've just beaten Man United as a motivator for his team to go out and beat you.
Everybody uses everything, you know. We'll you know, he can say whatever he wants to say. I can say whatever I want to say in my change room. He can, but ultimately it's what happens on that green bit. They're a really good side. You know, you don't get to the position of Queen's Park Rangers in the division, and you don't have the career that Mark's had without, first of all, him being a really good manager and then being a really good team. So we really, you know, respect the challenge in front of us, and whatever he says, you know, I know Mark, and I think there's mutual respect for both teams, I'm sure, and you know, it's on the night, and then a result can happen, and hopefully we can get that positive one for ourselves and keep this going.
I hope so. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Dawn. Cheers, thank you. Thanks.
Chris, ITV, please.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris, how are you doing?
Not bad, mate.
Good. Did you watch the FA Cup draw on Sunday?
Yes.
What did you think? How did you tell me how you felt when Spurs came out the hat?
There was a couple, I think, I don't want them. And then it started coming in, I went, just before it was getting drawn, I went, Spurs, and it came out Spurs. I thought, brilliant, great. I think it's a great draw. Really good. You know, reward for the supporters, their consistency, their passion towards their football club, and hopefully we can have a good night and we can have a positive one, because you know, everybody, whether they were watching it on the TV or whether they were there in person, you know, I should imagine enjoyed Friday night, and we know we've got to go again, and obviously different sort of situation. We're at home, so you know, we had, you know, brilliant away support at Old Trafford. You know, never got drowned out. You know, at the end, you're walking off and the supporters all over the ground. You know, people said there was 9,400 or whatever supporters. There weren't. There was a lot more, as they do. They managed to find a way in, which you do if you want to go and watch your team, especially at Old Trafford on a Friday night in the FA Cup. And I should imagine it'll be exactly the same on that day in early March. Where we'll sell out, but we've certainly got some big games before that. It's coming thick and fast. As I said, only one free week, and then whether it's, you know, league games or whether it's that FA Cup game, it's a real tremendous schedule that's ahead of us, and one that we're looking forward to.
In a strange sort of way, does the result against Manchester United almost put a bit more pressure on you and the players, because people will look at it and go, well, if they've beaten Man United?
Yeah, I mean, listen, anything can be, as I just said to Dawn there, anything can be said, you know. We've just got to concentrate on ourselves, and, you know, they're an honest group of boys that, you know, they really give everything for the club. We're still not there. It's early parts, so, you know, you understand that. We're still 2-3 months into sort of a new sort of era, or sort of us coming into the football club. So still a lot of work to be done. But the winning games of football, I think, you know, I believe everybody's enjoying it. Nights like Friday night won't do any damage to the football club on a lot of fronts, and players will have enjoyed that, and I should imagine knowing the players would want a little bit more of that, and there's certainly more of that to come. They've already had a taste of it, the Boxing Day game and a few of the other games, they've had a taste of it, and knowing what the players are about, getting to know what the players are about. They're a good, honest group, and they as I said, after 9 o'clock they rose to the occasion, and they'll want a little bit more of that in the next 2 or 3 months.
Can you see a difference between the team that you sort of inherited and how the team are playing now? When you look at them, can you see a change in them?
Well, I don't want to be disrespectful to the previous manager. He had a way of playing, and I've got a way of playing, and everybody's got, Mark Warburton's got a way of playing, different types of playing. So it's what you do and how you go about your business, and that from my point of view, I'm not really interested in what has gone off previously. As far as said that, from a character point of view, I think they're a real good group to work with, and I've been left a really good group, and everybody has their own ideas, everybody has their own opinions on certain situations, whether it's conditioning, whether it's playing out of possession, whether it's playing in possession, whether some managers fancy some players, and I maybe go in a different direction. That's what happens. That's why there was a change that was made, and I've got to make the best of what we've got, which is a good group. Add to it, and add ideas to help the players in the way that we want to play.
I certainly wasn't looking to try and get you to say anything disrespectful.
No, you won't. No, you won't. No.
I just want to ask, obviously QPR, one of the players they did sign on the last day of the window was Jeff Hendrick on loan. Now, there was lots in the press about possibly an interest in him from yourselves. Was there anything in that? Did a move ever come close?
Yeah, I mean, we were. I was open. We were interested in a couple of players to bolster the group, but for one reason or the other, we did our utmost to do that. And to make that happen, and that's from myself to Kieran to Neil and Steve as well. So, we're the group that we've got. I'm delighted with, but there was a couple of players out there. Jeff was one, yeah. That's I'm not going to hide behind anything. He was somebody that we were interested in, but he went to another club, and he's a good player, really good player, and some you get, some you don't get. So I'm happy with what we did. I thought it was a good window for us. There's certain situations that would have made it a better window for us, but they were out of our control as well. So, but we worked as hard and as diligently and as smart as we possibly could to improve the squad, and we feel we've done that, and now it's locked down in terms of the players that we've got, and let's work with the players that we've got towards the second part of the season. But yeah, Jeff was a target, and he's I know Jeff, and he's a good player, got a good pedigree, and I'm sure he'll do well.
I guess you'll just hope that he doesn't smash one in against Middlesbrough.
It's just, Chris, that's part and parcel of the game. This is how it is. It's, as I said, we did as much as we possibly could. So this is how it is. So we players, you get players. I think the three players, the three senior players that we got through the door, they were coveted. Celtic wanted Riley McGree, and he came to us. Manager Celtic's not moaning and groaning about it. They did what they tried to do. Riley took his decision. Everybody's got to respect that. I think Flo and Aaron had other people in for them, so they chose us. So, this is what happens, and the couple that you were close to getting, have made a different decision to. So yeah, it's okay, it's fine.
Brilliant, great. Best of luck.
Cheers,
Thank
Chris.
you very much.
Thanks, mate.
Take care.
Cheers, mate.
Matty from the Echo.
Hey, Matty.
Morning, Chris. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. You?
Yeah, all good, mate. Apologies if I missed this earlier on. I was a bit late onto this, but Riley McGree, What's his situation at the minute? And guessing he might not be available.
Yeah, he's available. So yeah, he is. Yeah, so we're delighted. I'm not. There's no curveballs for me. On that, Riley's trained. He tested negative. That allowed him to get back on a plane. He landed Saturday, I think. Sunday. He did some work Sunday. He trained yesterday. So yeah, I mean, there's a getting him ready has been difficult because obviously he's gone out and tested positive, so that wasn't ideal. But he's just such an humble, honest boy. Like, he's apologising to me, and I'm saying, well, you can't do anything about it. That's how it is, and let's have a good second part of the season. But looking forward to working with him. He's a bright boy, and he's going to be an asset to the football club.
And I suppose his availability almost makes it like a new signing in effect. I know it is, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he'll be involved in the 18 on Wednesday night, so delighted to have him involved. Would have loved to have had him involved at Old Trafford. We were planning on him being back in time, but he wasn't. So he's lost missing that. So I think he'll be more gutted than us, but he would have definitely played a part at Old Trafford, and he's involved on Wednesday.
Great stuff. If I could just ask about James Leah-Saliki as well. Obviously, the African Cup of Nations has reached its conclusion. Do you know when he's due to arrive back? And also, have you sort of kept an eye on his progress in the AFCON?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, he's come on a couple of times. So yeah, we have in terms of his minutes and what he's done. He comes back the back part of the week. So obviously we'll get him in, assess him to see where he is, what sort of the load he's done or gone through while he's been away. I think it's quite a difficult one as well when they go away on these tournaments. The amount of work that they do, because obviously they're being involved in squads. So maybe he might be down on certain aspects from a physical point of view, but we'll quickly assess him and see where he is. And as I said, he's with us to the end of the season, so he'll be part of the group.
If I could just ask about Sol Bamba as well. He's been very complimentary of yourself and the club, and also his contribution this season has probably exceeded a lot of people's expectations. Just your words on the measure of the man and what he's kind of gone through.
Just been brilliant to work with. As I've talked about before, it's an inclusive game, so maybe who the bad guys are and the undesirables, and who the good guys are. And Sol's had he's got a fabulous character that's followed him round all his career. He's a competitor, he's a warrior. He wants to win. He wants to win in training. He encourages, he motivates, he criticises as well. He demands high standards of people around him as well as himself. And I think it was one of the stories of Friday night, really, because the boy ain't kicked a ball for possibly an hour, and then he goes on, and as I said when we talked about the penalty takers, I don't think it's as easy just to say, well, these five take the penalties. I think there's a lot of things to add into that. So the downside of that was possibly Sol hadn't struck a ball for an hour, but the upside of it is that he's a man and he's got plenty of bottle and he's nice and calm, and to the way he walked up and took that responsibility on and tucked it away. I thought it was a brilliant moment for him as well. And not only will he talk about sort of a reflection when people finish their careers about that night, and he'll certainly have that from a personal point of view. And I thought you saw the reaction of everybody afterwards, what a popular member of the group he is.
Had you come across Sol, Chris, before you took charge of Boro?
Not really, no. Played against him a couple of times, but like I said, always a player that gave everything, and honest guy, and good player as well. You know, you don't have the career that he's had from being at the international as well, and the teams that he's played for. You know, he's had a really good career, and he's had success in his career. So and longevity is key as well. You know, to keep playing and you know, we've not even talked about his illness as well, really. You know, so we've not even touched about that. You know, sort of the character, and you know, you can't really put it into words, can you? Coming back not only to get himself back into a normal life and normal way of living, but to carry on being a professional footballer is an incredible achievement. So you know, is a lot of compliments in there, and all fully deserved.
I don't think I've ever seen a fifth penalty taker in such a big game look so calm.
Yeah, no.
Did he tell you before you put? I know he went on in the 119th, 120th minute. Did he tell you before he went on that he wanted a penalty, or was it only actually when the whistle was blowing in extra time?
No, we did a bit of prep, but going into sort of 5 and 6, because of the changes that we made, and a couple of boys were, as you saw, were absolutely flat on the feet, and you know, I think that's a time for experience. I thought, you know, let's not forget about Peltz's penalty as well. You know, it was Lee had come on and at the start of extra time and used his experience and used his quality, and I think, you know, for these two boys as well, the way they live their life and the way they condition themselves to play in the Championship, and Lee going on and playing for half an hour against, you know, the mobility and the pace of the players that he's up against, and then to stick a penalty away like he did. There was always, the Johnny Howsons, the Paddies, the Del Frys, the Tavs, you know, Martin Pierros, that we felt that would be at the forefront of our thinking. They would be on the pitch as well, forefront of our thinking in terms of taking penalties. And then there's obviously, you know, you sort of ask the question, you know, from Sol's point of view and Lee Peltier, and straight away they're positive in their attitude, and I thought that showed in terms of the attitude and of the way that they took the penalties, and delighted that they stepped up and took them away.
Matty asked you about Riley McGree. You said he landed on Saturday morning. I'm all over. I have no idea what the time difference is and what time he'll have flown. Did he watch the game then, or did he land and find out that you'd beaten United? Do you know kind of what happened there?
Yeah. I texted him on Sunday. You know, obviously to say I'll see him Monday, and glad he's back, and he congratulated on it. So I've not really had a sort of in-depth conversation with him, really. I don't really get too close to the players, to be fair. You know, in that way. So, you know, we have our bits and pieces, but you know, so yeah, he's a good guy, and as I said, he'd be a good asset to the club.
And just finally from me, obviously the new lads have been here a couple of weeks now. How have they all settled in? Because I noticed, listening to all the player interviews afterwards, all of them talked about the togetherness in the group, the unity, which is obviously something you talk about and stress a lot of importance in.
Team. Always, it's team. You will have your individual moments in there, but everything's got to do. You know, you've got to sacrifice yourself for the team. I think Duncan's been a fabulous example of that. You know, he's played a lot of football, had a bit of an issue with his knee, and worked his way back, and comes on and, you know, runs himself into the ground. So, you know, maybe that's. You know, we work hard on that, but maybe that's a question for the players. But the new boys have been great. You know, I said that's maybe a question for them as well. But we've enjoyed working with them. We're delighted to get both of them, and obviously Riley to the football club. And it's early days for them, and you know, there's more to come. I thought it was a difficult night for Flo. At Man United, because the first half we you know, they were in the ascendancy and they were at it and they were on top, and he's up against Varane and Maguire, and he's not getting a lot of service and a lot of quality into him. So as I said, maybe when the game opened up, Duncan looked a little bit more easier on the eye for it. It was a tough. It was a tough afternoon for Aaron Connolly against Coventry, because the same, our sort of quality from back to front wasn't great, and it was quite a bitty game in terms of possession and chances created. But both players, there's loads more to come. As I said, they won't get judged on one or two games. The time for judging and reflecting is at the end of the season. Have they been a success or not? And that's when I'll reflect on those two or everybody. What's the second part of the season been like? And certainly, I think that's the only time really you can sit down and really properly assess the sort of impact that sort of the players that come in on January have made to the group. But I'm sat here, I'm 100% certain that all the boys that we've brought in will add to the group and make us better for the second part of the season.